Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Happy Gumball Machine. It's super adorable. I love how it turned out. I think that it kind of reminds me of, it's supposed to be like the tall ones that stand up, but if I would have added all the extra stuff in between it would have been even more band heavy, because it is a little band heavy because of all the wrap bands that we have on here. In total, for this top red portion and this bottom red portion, I used 247 bands. In the center here I used clear. There are 192 bands there. If you don't have clear, I'd suggest just using white. I think it'll still turn out really well that way with the colored wrapped bands. And then in total for the wrap bands there are 59 of them, and I'll show you how to make those. And so mostly we do most of this ahead of time and it goes together fairly well. So we'll get started. And it stands up too. I think I'm going to make mine into a keychain and put something through the top. It'd be so cute. So first, I'm going to use 9mm pony beads for the eyes. You can use wrapped bands if you don't have them. It's just two bands put together on your hook. Wrap around once into the figure 8. Grab both bands, or all 4 bands. Wrap them around again. And then you'll pull through 2 bands that are the color of the gumball case part. And just pull them through. So these would be your eye bands if you don't have the beads, like that. And then you'll want cheeks, which are whatever color you want the cheek. Just remember that if you do a lot of wrapped bands, we do keep a few of them off of the face when we do it, but my wrap bands for my cheeks are pink, and then I didn't use pink for any other color around. So kind of keep that in mind when you pick your colors for the cheeks and for the gumballs. But it's just one band on the hook, wrapped around into the figure 8. Grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of the middle portion. So you need 2 cheeks. And then for the wrapped bands, you need, like I said earlier, 59 of them. I did basically the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple colors, and I did about 12 of them each, so I have more than enough. But all you do, it's the same, they're made the same way as the cheeks. It's just whatever color you want the gumball to be on the hook, wrapped around, grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your center gumball part. So like that. So like I said, I just made 12 each of the normal rainbow colors, and that gets you to 60, but so there's plenty then to do it. So you want all those to make ahead of time. Remember, if you have a latch hook, get that out to use it. It's very useful in making the wrapped bands. They're made the same way as on the rainbow loom hook. It's just that when you're sliding these wrap bands over, it catches that little hook part and they just slide right over. So you don't even have to like kind of pick them up and with your fingernails and pull them over. So get a hold of one of these if you can. They're like $3 or $4. Different craft stores have them, but it's called a rug latch hook. So check that out. Always want them to be easier for you. So eyes, cheeks, gumballs, and then once you have all of that, we'll get started with the rest here. It's one loom, wrong end towards us. And we're going to start with this top portion up here. So whatever color you want that to be. I'm going to make another red one. And we're going to start in the center of the loom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right around here, 7th pin up. So from this center pin, I'm going to go out to the 6 pins around in a starburst. Everything's double banded, so it's 2 bands whenever you put one on. And just go around from the center pin out to the 6th around. Like that. Middle pin gets a cap band. It's 2 bands wrapped around 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you take your hook, go in through your cap band, grab the top 2 bands that go to the outside wherever they are, pull them up through your cap band. I can already see I did not grab the top 2. Sometimes I have so much trouble with the first band. There we go. Like that, and then you go back in through the cap band, grab the next two, and pull them back towards themselves, and you do that all the way around. Like that. Push down. And now we're going to make this little, it's kind of like a little ball portion that goes on the top. And all it is 4 bands. So 1, 2, 3, 4 bands on the hook. And you wrap around once. And then you want to grab them all again, wrap around again. So it's like a big ball on your hook. Then you'll take 1 band on the end of your hook, double it, and then pull that through everything on your hook. Like that. And put both ends on. Just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach this to the loom, just kind of across these 2 pins here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and pick up the 4 bands that are on this side right here. Pick them up, and I'm going to grab this half, pull it down, so it looks like that. Then I'll put the bands the 4 bands back onto the pin. So we have this now. And then we'll come to the other side, across from it, grab those 4 bands over there, pull those off the pin, pull those through the 2 bands left on the hook, and then you go ahead and put those back onto the pin. And that's all for that portion. Now we're going to do a row all the way around, 2 bands, like that. Flip your bottom 4 all the way around. And we'll push those down. So now we're going to increase, and we're going to increase the 2 pins here and then the center pin up here. So these 3 pins we're going to increase. So first what I'm going to do is take the center right here though and pull it back towards me a pin. Like that. Then I'm going to come over to this right side here, and I have to pick up all 4 bands, pull them back, and then I can grab the top 2 bands here and put them back on the pin they were on. So there's no crossing of the bands right here. The bands that are on this pin come around to this pin, and the bands that are on this pin come around to this pin. By crossing, I mean that if I were to, I'll show you up here. I'll show you on this one up here. If I were to pick up these bands on the top and just try and increase, it would make it so that these would cross, and we don't want that. So whenever we increase, we always want to make sure that they're separated. So for this one, I'm going to pick up the top 2, pull them over to the left, and then I'm going to pick up the other 2 and pull them over to the right. So there's no crossing right here. Then down here on this corner, I'll pick up the top 2 and pull them down a pin. So we're on 9 pins now, and kind of the weird center one down here. So now we'll do a row all the way around. Again, 2 bands. Like that. So then you'll either be flipping the bottom 2 where you increased, or the bottom 4 where we didn't do any increase. There's 2, 2. Don't forget the center one. There's 4. Other side, 2, 4, 2, and 2. Push that down. So now what we're going to do is put the red away for now. That sounds funny. And you'll want the color that you're going to switch over for the main portion of your gumball machine. And I'm going to use clear again. And what we're going to do is we're going to puff out these 9 pins. And to do that, you take 2 bands and hold them in one hand, take your hook, stick it through the bands on the pin, hook the 2 bands in your hand, pull them up through, put both ends back on the hook, pull the bands off the pin, and then the ones that are on your hook will go back onto that same pin. So we just changed the color that was on the pin. And you're going to do that on every one of the pins. So through, grab the bands, pull them up, both ends on the hook, take the bands off the pin, back on the loom. And for the center one, because it's kind of hard to get your fingers in there, I usually just drop them on the pin closest. Go in through those bands, grab them off of the pin, pull them up through, put them back on the pin, and I'll get these on my hook that way, and then put them back where that pin was. Like that. Makes it a little easier. Do the other side, not with that weird band. Our new kitty is probably the most playful kitty that we have ever had, or I've ever had. She's into everything, always on the go. She's also turned into a cord chewer, which is not a good thing for many reasons. One, obviously cat chewing on electrical cords is not a good idea. And 2, like right now, she's playing at my feet, but I know that I have a lot of expensive cords, or cords to a lot of expensive things down there underneath my table, so I'm really hoping she's not chewing on things. Like that, push all those down. So we're going to do a row all the way around, and this is just with the 2 bands that are the color of the gumball part. There's no wrap bands yet, so just 2 bands. All the way around. And yes, yes, I know I could replace the cords, and can't replace the kitty, but trying to find the exact cords to some of these things would probably prove kind of difficult. And that'd be no tutorials till I bought more stuff. So like that. So then you'll flip the bottom 4 all the way around. New kitty also has one of the loudest purr boxes I've ever heard. She's always purring. Even when she's like trying to attack you and bite your feet, she's purring. She's very odd. Like that. So now what we're going to do is we need to increase again. And so how we're going to do that is we're going to increase these second pins right here that come down, and then the middle pin down here. So to increase the one down here, it's pretty simple. We're just going to grab the top 2 bands, lift them up, whatever side they're coming from. Mine are on the left side, so I'm just going to take them over to the left. And then the other 2 bands will come over to the right. Up here, we want to take these 2 pins that are on the top and we're going to move them back 1. So I'm going to pick up all 4, move them up 1, then on both sides, and then I can pick up the top 2 on this side. They're coming from above, so I know they won't be crossing, so I can just bring those up to the empty pin. On the other side though, I have to pick up all 4 bands, lift them up and bring them back a pin. Make sure that you get them all back onto the pin, and don't take your hook out till you're sure. Then you grab the top 2 and bring them back down to the pin that they were on. Like that. So now we are on 6 pins. So we're going to start adding our wrapped bands. Guess I need to grab so many of those. And this is just random coloring, however you want to put them on. I know after a while I was like running out of places to try and make them so that they weren't next to each other. So just picking, except for that's a cheek. I don't know what you're doing in there. And it's just putting these on like this all the way around. I don't think it really matters if you end up with a couple colors next to each other. I know that in an actual gumball machine there wouldn't be quite that much differentiation between them. I'm also waiting for Kitty Cat to attack my feet, which she loves to do. I don't think we've still decided on a name for her. I think we've all just been calling her Kitty. I think that's probably going to end up just being her name. And it really is just because my daughter is like, Kitty! This horrible screeching kitty every time she sees her. She's a cutie. And make sure when you get put the wrap bands on, that you get both bands on, because sometimes it's easy to miss because the wrap band is holding the bands together, so you might not see that it's not together. They're not all both on the pin. So like that, wrap bands all the way around. So then you're either going to be flipping the bottom 4 or the bottom 2. You're just going to be leaving 4 bands on the pin all the way around. So that was 4, 2, 2, 4, 4, and there's 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, and 4. Push all those down. So now we're going to increase once more. So to do this, we're going to come over, starting on this side. I'm going to grab these bands that are right here and pull them back a pin. Take the second ones up, pull those back a pin, and then check here. Grab all 4 bands on the next pin and pull those back. So we pulled the first 3 back, and then on this third one up here that we pulled back, I'm going to grab the top 2 bands and pull them back to the empty pin. So 4, 4, 2, 2. Then we'll go all the way up to the end one up here, and I can just pick up the top 2 bands and pull them up. And then come over to the other side, and we're going to pull the top 3 back a pin, like we did over here at the beginning. So grab these, pull them back. And then right here, I'm going to grab the top two, pull them forward to that empty pin. So 4, 4, 2, 2. Then we'll come back to the beginning here. And for this one, I'm going to pick up all 4, bring them down a pin, and then bring the top 2 back, like that. So now we're on 16 pins total, 8 on each side. And we're going to do a wrapped band around, but this will also be our eye row. So you want your eyes. So again, grab your wrap bands and just kind of put them on randomly. So 1, 2, 3, and then the next spot will be an eye. So you want your eyes up there. So eye. And then in the center here, it's just going to be 2 bands. Then another eye. I did put wrap bands on that one before and it made it look like it had a big pimple in between its eyes, so we don't want that. So eye. And then it's wrap bands all the way around the rest. Just randomly put on how you want. It's really hard not to like be real specific about what bands you're putting on. Because like, oh, I don't want it to be that close to that color and that color. But eventually, like I said, it's like everywhere you look, there's a color that's fairly close by that's one that you're using. So unless you used 59 random colors, it's pretty hard not to have some that are fairly close together. I'm a big fan of the old-time gumball machines that have like the big, like, I don't call them slides, but big things for the gumballs to roll down or roll around, or contraptions for them to fall on, and I think those are so awesome, and they're much better than just the ones where you turn the crank and the ball falls out the bottom, because I think the other ones help with kids' imagination and their delight at their treats, the anticipation of waiting for it to come out the end while you're watching it go down the stuff, and I love that kind of whimsical stuff. So like that, all the way around, wrap bands, eyes are right here, and if you want to see, so if I hold my fingers here, it's dun, dun, and then eyes, with the center one empty. So then we should be flipping the bottom 4 up here. And it's 4, then 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, and 2. Other side, it's 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4, and 4. Push those down. So then our next row is going to be our cheek row, so you want those cheek wrapped bands, and they're going to go right where we put the eyes. So again, I'm just going to start with some wrap bands down here. Oh. And then a cheek. then 2 bands, then another cheek, then wrap bands around the rest. I should have like put these in a little box that where I can't see what color they are and just pulled them out. That would have been much more random instead of thinking about it. Alright, so like that, emptying the center in the front with the cheeks here and then wrap bands around the rest. So now you'll be flipping the bottom 4 all the way around. Push everything down. Now we need to put our mouth on, and that's going to go across these 2 pins here. So what I'm going to do is put on my hook, double it, and then take it off and hold it like that. I'm going to take my hook, go through the bands that are by the right eye, reach down with my hook, grab that mouth band, pull it up through and up over the top of the pin, and then pull it down so it's wrapped around the pin. And still holding it, I'm going to go over to the next pin over and do the same thing. Hook through, grab that band, pull it up through, over the top of the pin, pull it down. So now we're wrapped around 2 pins. And once you have it there, just pick it up, flip it over the top of the pins, and it should look like this. Now what we're going to do is another row all the way around with the wrap bands. I only made like 2 extra of these, so hopefully I don't mess up too many of them. And then we also do not want to put one right under the mouth. So no wrapped band there. So just 2 bands. It makes its lip look funny. I remember as kids, I think it's Walmart, I think they still have them. But these little kind of cheap gumball machines. And they usually come with some gumballs, and you can buy refills for them, and you can put, like, I think any coin into it, either pennies all the way up to quarters. And you just put them in there, and then you get your little gumball out, and, it was the greatest thing in the world. And it was much more awesome because you could take off the bottom of it, get all your money back out, and then do it all over again. So you didn't actually wait for any coins. I don't know who designed that or if that was intentional. I suppose to get you to buy more gum, but so like this, wrap bands all the way around except for where the mouth is. There's just regular bands. So you go ahead and flip the bottom 4 all the way around. So when we had those, the gum definitely went fast. Like, I don't think my mom understood what was happening for a while, because she'd give us, a few coins to play with to use it, and then we'd come up to her and be like, they're all gone, the gumballs are all gone, and she's like, well, how did that happen? You can't get in there, and because I think there's like a key to lock the gumballs in, but it didn't work or something on the flap or where the coins were. I don't remember exactly, but I know she was kind of like, where's it all going? And we're like, in my belly. Because you're a kid, you're going to swallow all that gum all the time. Alright, I'm just going to pull this up a little bit here. Push everything down. So we're going to do some reducing. So starting 1, 2, 3rd pin up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th pin up. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th pin up. Couldn't see the little dot on my instructions there. I'm going to pick up the top 2 bands. They're coming from above, so I'm going to pull them below. Then I'm going to pick up the bottom 2 and pull them above. So it looks like that. Then we're going to go to the end pin up here. I'm going to pick up the top 2. They're coming from the left over here, so I'm going to pull them down and on the right. And the other 2 are going to cross over to the left. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up the top 2. They're coming from below, so I'm going to bring them above. Then I'll take the bottom 2, or the other 2 that are left on the pin, and they're going to go to the bottom. And then back here to the beginning pin, pick up the top 2. They're coming from above, so I'm going to take them over to the other side of the loom. And then the other 2 will go up. So we're reduced here, here, up at the top, and then right here. So now we're going to do a row all the way around. As like, I know that I have to reduce more than that. That doesn't make any sense. Like, but then if I look closer, I can see where my little smudge mark is over I drew over it. Oops. It's all good. We're doing the right thing. I promise. So there's long stretches here where we just kind of stretch the band, put it on one end, stretch it way over to the other side. And the other places are just normal. Long stretch across this side. Then normal. Long stretch. normal, normal. Like that. Long stretches on the sides and the ends. So when we flip, some of the pens are going to have, it'll be 2 reducing bands and 4 from the previous row. And the next one is going to have 4. This one right here is going to have the reducing band and then the 4 from the previous row. Skip that pin, then we'll come of a reducing band, and then 4, and here's 4. And if you want, when you see the reducing band, you can grab that and then grab the whole bottom row of the 4 and flip those over too. It just whatever's easier for you. Sometimes the reducing bands can feel a little tight. Now on this side, we have the reducing band on this pin, then the bottom 4. Then we have 4. Reducing band on this one with 4. Reducing band, 4, 4, and then this one will have a reducing band as well with the bottom 4. To pull that up a little bit. So now what we want to do is bring these closer. So all I'm going to do is, if you look at this, we kind of have these little ends that jut out. I'm going to take this side where it juts out, move it back a pin, and then on this side where it juts out, I'm going to move it back in a pin. So I'm going to start here with this third one up or over. Pick up those 4 bands and bring them back. Make sure you get all 4 bands back onto the pins when you do this, because it does kind of, they don't want to do it all that well. This way around. So I just moved them all closer together. And we'll do that on the other side. Tuck in your ends. Push everything down. And then we're going to reduce again. So starting down here in this corner, I'm going to pick up the top 2 bands. They're coming from above, so they're going to go over to the opposite side. And the other 2 are going to go up. Then go to the next pin, do the same thing. Pick up the top 2, see where they're coming from. Mine are coming from above, so they're going to go below. Then the other 2 will go above. Go up to the next one, grab the top 2. See where they're coming from. They should all be coming from above for this one. So then I'll bring it below, and the other 2 will go above. Come over to the other side, pick up the top 2. They're coming from below, so I'm going to take them over to the other side, and these 2 will come down. Next pin down, pick up the top 2, once you find them. Top 2. They're coming from below, so they're going to go above, and the other 2 will go below. Then this last pin right here, pick them up. They're coming from below, so they're going to go above, and the other 2 will go below. So now you should just be on 6 pins. 3 on the front, 3 on the back. So we're going to do a row all the way around with our wrap bands. This will be the last wrap band row. These are all pretty much long stretches. And I think this is the hard part with the colors, because by this time you probably run out of options. You'll have a few left. So I'm trying to make them so they're not next to each other. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with the coloring thing. It's just a weird thing. It's random. It's random, Ellen. It's random. Make it fine. I guess I only made one extra. Nope, there's two. Yay! Alright, so we have that. So now when we flip, there's going to be 8 bands that we're flipping. There's going to be 2, or there's going to be 4 reducing bands. So there'll be 2 from one side, and then 2 coming from the other side, and then there's the bottom 4 from the row before. So you flip those over. I think it's easiest to find the reducing bands first and flip those over, because they can be tight. Flip them over, and then grab the other 4. And if you have any other bands that are wrapped around these pins, just go ahead and take those off. Flip them back towards the center. Look at that, the wrong one there. That's better. Like that. It's adorable. So what we want to do is move these closer. So if I look at this, I'm going to move, I'll make it easy. We'll move this middle one down a pin. Then we'll grab this one that's really far away, move that way down next to the other one. Like that. So the front 3 are right next to each other. And on the back we just move the other bands so that they line up with the front. So in this case I move both ends in a pin. Back up here. I like that. So cute. You want to push these down. So now you want your bottom portion color again. And we're going to puff out all of the pins, so 6 pins with the new color. So again, we did this before when we switched from the red to the clear. Just take your hook, go through the bands, pull up 2 bands, put both ends on your hook, take the bands off the pin, and then put the ones that are on your hook onto that pin. And we'll do that all the way around. way. Like that. Push those down. Now we're going to do 3 rows all the way around with 2 bands. That'd be, this guy's head's in the way, so 3 bands, or 2 bands, 3 rows on these 6 pins. Like that. Flip the bottom 4 all the way around. So that's 1 row. Push them down. Do our second row. Same thing as before, flip the bottom 4. Push down, and we'll do our third row. Same thing as before, flip the bottom 4. Push everything down. Now we're going to increase everything all the way around. So, starting right here, I'm going to pull these back. And I'll bring the, go up to the middle one. Pick up the top 2, or not, nope. Sorry. Pick up all 4, bring them back. Then grab the top 2, bring them back to the pin that they were on. So we just increase the middle. And go to this top one. Grab the top 2, bring them up. Then on the other side, I'm going to grab all 4 bands, bring them up a pin, grab the top 2, bring them back. Then I'm going to grab the bottom 4 over here, bring them down a pin, come back to this one that still has the 4 bands on it, grab the top 2, bring them down to that empty pin, and then for these 2 down here that we just moved down, basically, you got to pick up all 4 of them. I'm going to bring this over the pin though. Pick up all 4, bring them down, then grab the top 2, bring them back to the empty pin. Do the same thing on the other side. Bring them down, grab the top 2, bring them back. They should be on 12 pins now, with 2 bands on every pin. So we're going to do 2 rows all the way around this with 2 bands. Like that. So for the first row, you're just going to be flipping over the bottom 2 on every pin. Push down. Do our second row all the way around, 2 bands. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Push down. So now we need to increase one more time. So we're going to do that by, first, we're going on the 3rd pins, so I'm going to grab these first 2, bring them back. And also bring back the 3rd one up. Grab the top 2, bring them up to the empty pin. And all the way here at the end, I'm going to grab the top 2, bring them up a pin. Then over here on the other side, I'm going to grab the top ones, pull them back a pin. Grab the second ones, pull them back a pin. And then the 3rd one, I'm going to pull back a pin. And then I'll grab the top 2, bring them back down to the pin that they were on. And then all the way down here to the beginning, grab all 4 bands, pull them down a pin, and then bring the top 2 back. And if it seems really hard to pull these out, then definitely make sure that these aren't hooked over behind it too far, because that will be why it'll make it hard to stretch out. So once you have that, we're going to do 2 rows all the way around this, and we're getting close to being done. So 2 bands, making this is almost like making 2 different designs, and the extra reducing and increasing. And so if you make it all the way to the end, you're awesome. I mean, you're awesome anyways, but it's not easy sometimes to make the things that I make, and sometimes I'm on point with my instructions, and other times I know that I probably forget to say what I'm doing, I guess, exactly. I take it for granted that you guys just know. I apologize for that. So there's my first row all the way around. So we're going to flip. It'll either be 4, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, and 2. And on the other side, 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4, and 4. Push down and we'll do our second row. Two bands all the way around again. It's also weird because I've been using a different camera, and this one, it'll keep recording, I hope, continuously, but when I go to transfer it over to my computer, it actually splices them up. So it'll be like, I think it's 23 minutes and like 16 seconds or something. And so once it hits that point, it like cuts the video, and then it starts like from the same exact spot. There's no gap, but it's like two different files. It's really weird. So like that, and then you flip the bottom 4. It's really weird because the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I never stopped the video there. What is this about? And what happened? Did I lose something? How do I splice it together? And it's very unnerving at first, because before I'd use my phone and it would cut off and just stop filming at like 31 minutes and like 36 seconds or something like that. So I always knew to watch my time, so I knew how to stop and, you know, start from a new point or something like that. But all these things we have to learn and figure out to make videos. It's crazy. Come a long way, that's for sure. So push all that down. So now we need to reduce. So it'll be every 4th pin. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On here, you pick up the top 2, see where they're coming from, and then take them to the opposite pin. Grab the other 2, and they'll go up. Then on the end, grab the top 2. They're coming from the left, so they're going to come down a pin. The other 2, we're going to cross the loom to the other side. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up the top 2. They're coming from below, so they're going to go above. Other 2 will come below. And all the way down here to the beginning. Pick up the top 2. They're coming from the left, so they're going to cross over to the right. And the other 2 will cross back. So like that. And we'll do a row all the way around. 2 bands. So a couple long stretches. So kind of a long stretch here, 2 normal. Then a long stretch. And 2 normal. A long stretch. A couple normal. Long stretch. And a couple normal. Like that. So when we flip, it's kind of just like what we did up in the top portion up here. We're going to have, some pins will have 2 bands that are from the reducing, and then the bottom 4, or they're just going to have 4. So here's 2 reducing, 4, 2 reducing, 4. And here when you pass those long stretches, we have those bands on the outside of the pins, just tuck them on the inside. There's 4, 2 reducing, and 4. On the other side, 2 reducing, and 4, 4, and this one is reducing, stay. 2 reducing. Keep snagging them. The big head's in the way. There we go. Four. And then there'll be 2 reducing up here. Kind of want to stick it if you haven't already. So just like before, we want to move these closer. So the one ends that are kind of pointed out farther, you're going to move those in towards the center of the loom. I'll grab these, bring them up or over. And on the other side, bring these down. Like that. Tuck everything in behind the pins. Push it down. Then we're going to do a reducing of every other pin again. So starting down here, pick up the top 2. They're coming from above, so I'm going to take them over the opposite side. These 2 will go up. Next one's up. Top 2 are coming from above, so they'll go below. And the other will go up. Next pin up. Top 2 coming from above, so they're going to go below. And above. Go on the other side. Top 2, they're coming from below, so they're going to cross over back to the right side. And the other 2 will come down. Next pin down here. Top 2 are basically it's taken from the opposite pin. They're coming from below, so they're going to go above. And the other ones will go to the opposite pin. And the last one right here to do, coming from below, go above. Other 2 will go below. So again, we're on 6 pins. Push them down. And then we're going to do a row all the way around. 2 bands. It's pretty much all long stretches. Like that. And then there's going to be, again, the 4 reducing bands, and then there'll be 4 from the row before to flip over. And I highly recommend doing kind of 4 and 4, a little easier on your hands. Flip these over towards the center when you pass them. Almost there. Alright, go ahead and pull it up. There we go. So now we're ready to take this off the loom. Yay! So you take your hook, stick them in through like one of the far corners first. Stick your hook in through those bands, pull them off, and then just work your way around the circle. Being careful as you get towards the end, kind of keeping them covered, or make sure they're pushed down really well so that they don't pop off before you get there. So just go all the way around. And once it's all on your hook, go ahead and grab 2 bands, pull them through. Somebody asked me why I always use 2 bands, because I thought it was wasteful, and I said, have you ever used 1 band and had it snap on you? At the end of your creation, after you spent an hour making it. That's why we use 2 bands. So pull it through. Before you pull it super tight, I kind of take the base and I smush it flat. Give it a little stretch, and then I'll pull it tight. Then we'll hide our tail. Just in the base somewhere. And then what you want to do is we're going to need to stretch them back out, because I was smushing them all over the place trying to get the bands flipped and stuff like that. So get these bands out of my way. Stretch. And also, it might not be like a totally round shape for you too, just because of how we made it on the loom. It kind of will be more of an oblong shape. If you do enough stretching, you can get it to be more rounder. It's just kind of, I think it looks alright when it's a little bit oblong. Stretch. Pull that way down, flatten the base. I love it. If you have any issues with anything, use your hook to fix them. I'm going to fix my cheek here so it's a little nicer looking. And then with the eyes, the eye over here on this side, it is the same thing. It's just that we reduced the row before, so there was only 1 band to flip over, and so it wants to kind of tuck back in funny compared to the other eye, but if you pull the band out correctly, it will adjust itself. So no, it's not messed up, it's just the way it goes. Love it. But those are the only things that I really noticed about it that needed to be adjusted. Where we reduced on the bottom, sorry, I guess I had one more thing. Where we reduced on the bottom, it's hard to tell with all the clear bands and then the wrap bands all over it, but where we reduced, there might be some spots that are kind of tight. So if you pull those out and loosen them, it'll help with any, like, kind of looks like it's flatter in some spots, or so that was the only other thing that I could remember having an issue with, or not liking quite the way it turned out when I was finished. And I'm not sure, like I said, I use the clear bands or jelly, so if you're going to use the white opaque bands, hopefully yours turned out similar. I'm sure I'll see some of them, because clear bands are not always the easiest to find everywhere, so. But hopefully it turned out so that you had the kind of same effect. This gumball's in the way. There we go. So cute! I love it so much. I hope that you do too. It's definitely a longer tutorial, so hopefully you found it worth it in the end. And I just love how it stands up. It's so cute. Smush, smush, smush. So cute. And like I said, I think I'm going to turn mine into a keychain for a while. So if you see some random old lady walking around with this keychain, maybe it's me. But don't, like, freak them out. And don't call the person old lady either, because it might not be me making fun of myself. So, but thanks you guys very much. I definitely appreciate you watching my tutorials and sharing all your creations with me and the world. Don't forget to have my Instagram. You can share them with me at Crafting Fantastic. My Facebook, my it's feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. They'll both find me. And then, of course, giving my videos a thumbs up when you watch them is always helpful to others trying to find videos to watch. And then, of course, subscribing to my channel so you know when I come out with new things. That's always awesome. But I want to thank you guys very much. I definitely appreciate it. And seriously, don't go up to anybody and say, lady, random old lady, because they probably will freak out. Because it probably won't be me. You never know. Okay. Thanks you guys for watching, and I will have more for you soon.